Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling something pretty big.
Okay.
The most pressing problems facing the world today.
Yeah.
So,
Big topic.
it is a big one, but thankfully we have a really great resource to help us kind of break it all down.
Right.
We're using this report from developmentaid.org,
Okay.
and they lay out the top 10 global challenges.
Mm.
Now, before we even jump into the list,
Yeah.
I want you to think about what you see as the biggest problem
Okay.
facing humanity right now.
Mm.
Just keep that in the back of your mind as we go through these, because it's really interesting to see how they all connect.
Yeah. You know what's fascinating to me is how interconnected all these problems really are.
Yeah.
It's like this tangled knot you pull on one thread, and it just affects everything else.
Exactly.
It's a bit daunting, but it also means there's huge opportunity to make a difference.
Yeah,
You know, if you can address one problem effectively, it ripples out.
absolutely.
So that's exciting.
All right, so the first problem on the list is poverty.
Okay.
And this report highlights a pretty stark statistic. 9.2% of the world's population.
Wow.
That's almost 700 million people
Gosh.
are living on less than $1.90 a day.
Yeah. I mean, that's barely enough to survive.
Right, and it's hard to even fathom that many people
It's hard to even imagine.
living on so little.
And, you know, that lack of resources, it just leads to so many other issues.
Of course.
Limited access to healthcare education, job opportunities.
Yeah.
It creates this cycle of deprivation that's so hard to break free from.
Right. So the report talks about investing in things like education, healthcare, and social safety nets
Yeah.
as potential solutions. But how do those things actually help break that cycle?
Well, you have to think about it. Like, this
That-
education empowers people.
Yeah.
It gives them knowledge skills, opens up better job opportunities.
Yeah.
They can contribute more to their communities.
Right.
Healthcare keeps people healthy and productive.
Yeah.
So they don't fall deeper into poverty because of illness.
Yep.
And those social safety nets,
Yeah.
those are crucial during times of crisis.
Right.
Because they prevent families from falling into destitution, from like unexpected events.
So it's almost like building a foundation for people to build their lives on
Exactly.
instead of just constantly struggling to stay afloat.
Yeah, you said it perfectly.
Okay, so moving on to the next challenge on the list,
All right.
climate change.
Yeah, big one.
I don't think I need to tell anyone about rising temperatures, extreme weather, all that.
Right? We're living it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. What really struck me in this report was the urgency. It really emphasizes that we need to act now
Yeah.
to avoid irreversible damage.
And it's the poorest and most vulnerable communities
Yes.
that are hit the hardest.
Absolutely.
It exacerbates inequalities and creates new challenges.
So it's definitely a complex issue that needs a multifaceted approach.
It does.
And one of the key solutions that the report talks about is transitioning to renewable energy sources.
Absolutely.
But what does that actually look like in practical terms?
It means moving away from fossil fuels, for
Right.
one, and embracing cleaner alternatives.
Right.
Solar, wind, geothermal.
Yeah.
This means investing in new infrastructure, developing new technologies, and promoting policies that encourage the use of renewables.
So it's not just individual choices.
Yeah.
Like changing your light bulbs or whatever.
It's got to be bigger than that.
Yeah.
We need systemic change,
Absolutely.
collective effort from governments, businesses, and communities.
Yeah.
That's how we make a real impact.
All right. The next problem that they outline in the report is political instability.
Oh, yeah.
And we see this all the time
Constantly.
in the news.
Right.
Conflicts, displacement, humanitarian crises.
It's a cycle of turmoil.
It really is, and it feels like it's never ending.
And you know, the thing is, political instability often makes those other problems we talked about,
Right.
poverty and climate change, even worse.
Right.
Conflict disrupts economies, destroys infrastructure, makes it incredibly difficult to address long-term challenges.
And so the report suggests things like diplomacy, strengthening democratic institutions, and addressing root causes of conflict as potential solutions.
Those are big ones.
They are big ones. So can you give some concrete examples of what that might look like?
Sure. So diplomacy that involves fostering dialogue
Okay.
between conflicting parties, mediating disputes, working towards peaceful resolutions, strengthening democratic institutions. That means promoting free and fair elections, protecting human rights, ensuring accountability within governments,
Yeah.
and addressing root causes.
Okay.
That means tackling issues like poverty, inequality, and discrimination.
So it's about creating a more just and equitable world
Exactly.
where people feel heard and represented.
And that can reduce the likelihood of resorting to violence.
Right. creating a foundation for peace and stability.
That's the goal.
Okay, so speaking of inequality, that's actually the fourth problem
Right.
highlighted in the report.
Huge problem.
It is, and the growing gap between the rich and the poor, both within and between countries,
Yeah,
is
a major concern.
a huge concern. And it's not just about wealth.
No, it's
Right.
so much more than that.
It affects everything.
It affects access to education, healthcare, job opportunities, even basic necessities
Right.
like food and clean water.
And this creates a society where opportunities are limited
Absolutely.
for large portions of the population.
It leads to social unrest and it hinders overall progress.
So some of the solutions that they suggest are promoting fair trade, implementing progressive taxation, and investing in education and job training.
Right.
So can you kind of break down how each of those actually help reduce inequality?
Okay, so fair trade practices,
Yeah.
that ensures that producers in developing countries
Right.
receive a fair price for their goods,
Okay.
helping them to escape poverty and build sustainable livelihoods.
Yeah.
Progressive taxation, where higher earners pay a larger percentage of their income in taxes. That helps redistribute wealth and fund social programs for those in need.
Makes sense.
Investing in education and job training gives people the skills they need to compete in the job market,
Right.
increases their earning potential,
Yeah.
and can help break that cycle of poverty.
So it's about creating a system where everyone has a fair shot,
Exactly.
not just those who are born into privilege.
Yeah, leveling the playing field.
Okay. The fifth problem on the list is religious conflicts.
This one's tough.
It really is. And it's heartbreaking to see how differences in beliefs can lead to violence and discrimination.
Yeah, and it's important to remember that religion itself isn't the problem.
Right.
It's often the manipulation and misinterpretation of religious ideas for political or social gain.
That's what causes the conflict.
Right.
So the report emphasizes promoting religious tolerance,
Yes.
fostering interfaith dialogue, and addressing the underlying social and political issues.
Right, because those are often at the root of it.
They are. But how do we actually go about fostering that interfaith dialogue and understanding?
It starts with education
Okay.
and open communication, encouraging people to learn about different religions, their beliefs, and their practices
Yeah.
that can help break down stereotypes and misconceptions.
Right.
Creating platforms for interfaith dialogue where people from different faiths can come together, share their perspectives, build relationships
Yeah.
that can foster empathy and understanding.
It's about recognizing our shared humanity
Exactly.
despite our differences.
Focusing on the common ground
Yeah.
rather than the things that divide us.
Right. We still have 5 more problems to get through.
Oh,
I know.
Okay.
So we're going to shift gears and move a little bit quicker.
All right, let's do it.
So problem number 6 is food security.
Okay.
This is about making sure that everybody has access to enough nutritious food,
Right.
especially with a growing global population to feed.
Feeds-
And so the report highlights sustainable agriculture
Right.
and reducing food waste. So sustainable agriculture.
That involves farming practices that minimize environmental impact,
Okay.
but maximize yield.
So like,
Things like reducing pesticide use, conserving water, protecting biodiversity,
okay.
and then reducing food waste. That's about minimizing losses
Yeah.
throughout the supply chain from production to consumption
Mhm.
and promoting responsible consumption habits.
So it's kind of a two-pronged approach.
It is.
Producing food more efficiently and sustainably,
Yeah,
but also making sure that we're not wasting what we already have.
exactly. We need to do both.
All right. Problem number 7 is water security.
Another crucial one.
Yeah, with growing populations and increasing demand,
Yeah,
clean drinkable water is becoming scarce.
in so many parts of the world.
Exactly. So this report focuses on water conservation and improved sanitation. What does that actually entail?
So water conservation means using water more efficiently
Okay.
in homes, in agriculture, in industry,
So like,
fixing leaks using water-saving appliances,
Right.
more efficient irrigation techniques,
gotcha.
improved sanitation that's providing access to safe toilets, wastewater treatment facilities.
To prevent contamination.
Exactly, protecting public health.
So it's not just about having enough water.
No,
It's also about making sure that the water we have is clean and safe.
it's both.
All right. Problem number 8 is health.
Okay,
This encompasses everything
everything.
from global pandemics like the one we're still recovering from
Right.
to the lack of access to basic health care.
Yeah, in so many parts of the world.
Exactly. And the report highlights the need for strengthening healthcare systems, investing in medical research,
Yeah.
and ensuring access to essential medicines.
Report.
So strengthening healthcare systems.
That means improving infrastructure, training healthcare workers,
Right.
and ensuring equitable access to quality care for everyone.
Gotcha.
Investing in medical research,
Yeah.
that's crucial for developing new treatments, vaccines, preventative measures.
And then ensuring access to essential medicines.
That means making sure everyone can afford the medications they need,
Right.
regardless of their income or location.
It's about creating a world where everyone has the opportunity to live a healthy life,
Exactly.
no matter where they live.
That's the goal.
Okay, we're almost there.
Almost.
Problem number 9 is education.
Okay.
Millions of children around the world still lack access to quality education.
It's true.
It limits their opportunities.
Absolutely.
It hinders social progress.
And it perpetuates those cycles of poverty and inequality.
Exactly. So the report really emphasizes investing in educational infrastructure, improving teacher training, and making education accessible to all.
Right.
Break it down for us.
So investing in education infrastructure,
Yeah.
building schools, providing learning materials, creating safe and supportive learning environments,
Okay.
improving teacher training, that's about giving teachers the skills and knowledge to effectively teach and inspire students, and making education accessible to all,
Right.
removing barriers like poverty, gender, location.
So every child has that opportunity
Correct.
to learn and reach their full potential.
Yeah, education is the foundation.
For individual and societal progress.
It's the key to a brighter future.
And finally, we come to problem number 10, terrorism.
Oh boy.
I know this is a complex and challenging issue,
It is.
and there are no easy solutions.
Definitely not.
So the report stresses the need to address the root causes of terrorism, promote international cooperation, and counter violent extremism.
Big tasks.
So addressing root causes, what does that look like?
It involves tackling things like poverty, inequality, political oppression,
Right.
things that can create fertile ground for extremism.
Okay, and then promoting international cooperation.
That's working together to share intelligence, disrupt terrorist networks, prevent the spread of extremist ideologies.
And countering violent extremism.
That involve developing programs and initiatives
Okay.
that challenge extremist narratives, promote peace and tolerance, and provide alternative pathways for those at risk of radicalization.
So it's a multifaceted challenge that needs a multifaceted approach.
It really does.
Wow, we covered a lot of ground today.
We did.
It's a lot to process.
It is.
And it can feel pretty overwhelming.
It's true. The challenges are immense.
Yeah.
But you know what I find encouraging is that for every problem, there are potential solutions.
That's what I keep coming back to.
Yeah.
It's not about despair. It's about action.
Absolutely.
Even small actions multiplied by millions of people can have a huge impact.
They really can. And remember, these problems are all interconnected.
Yeah.
So addressing one can have a ripple effect on the others.
So as we wrap up, I want to go back to that question I asked in the beginning.
Okay.
Which one of these problems resonated most with you?
Yeah.
And what actions, big or small, can you take in your own life to make a difference?
It's a good question.
Something to think about as you go about your day. Until next time, keep diving deep.